Welcome back everybody to the channel. So in this video we're talking about the Republic's strengths. Let's get right into it. So the beginning of the Clone Wars, the clones used a Phase 1 clone armor. This armor was mainly for protection because the Kaminoans, when they were first hired, the clones, they didn't know that much on the human anatomy. So the Phase 1 clone armor more focused on the protection than comfort. Until later in the war, they swapped out for Phase 2 clone armor, where the armor was adjusted to make the armor more comfortable for the clones. After learning more on the human anatomy. Now then, after we talked about the armors, let's talk about the weapons. The clones had an abundance of weapons. They had a very diverse armory. Let's talk about the rifles. The clone army had an abundance of weapons for infantry, starting with the infantry blasters the Republic gave the clones. The DC-15A. This weapon was most commonly seen in the clone army. It was the most flexible and it was a very powerful weapon. Honestly, it was mainly used as a long-range weapon in the battlefield, no close range. But then we had a DC-15X sniper rifle, most commonly used by the clone marksmen. Then we had the DC-17M interchangeable weapon system. This weapon is most commonly used by the clone commandos for the interchangeable systems to change from automatic to sniper to grenade launcher. This weapon type was used by Delta Squad from Republic Commando. The Westar-M5 blaster rifle was a fully automatic blaster most commonly used by the ARC troopers in close to mid-range combat. This weapon was possibly discontinued after the Clone Wars. The DC-15S blaster carbine was a smaller compact version of the more powerful DC-15A, but more commonly used amongst the clones for the compactness and usefulness in close quarters. Now that we talked about the rifles, let's talk about the heavy weapons, my most favorite things of the clone army. Now then, when we're talking about the heavy ordnance, we're talking about the RPS-6 rocket launcher. This launcher was a heavy launcher mainly used for anti-vehicle use, while the PLX-1 portable missile launcher was used for anti-vehicle, anti-personnel use. This RPS-6 launcher was used not just by the Republic, but Magna Guards and later by the Galactic Empire. The Z-6 rotary cannon is a minigun leg weapon only capable of anti-infantry roles, but is very effective in those roles. It has also seen extensive use in the Galactic Empire and the Rebel Alliance. Even after the Clone Wars and many other factions have modified versions to suit their needs. Now then, sidearms. So far, I've only seen like 2 sidearms. I only was able to see like 2 sidearms, so I'm only talking, it's going to be very brief. So, the sidearms used by the Republic would most consist of the DC-15S sidearm pistol, most commonly used by clone commandos, and the DC-17 blaster pistol, most commonly used by elite clone troopers. This variation of pistol was used by Captain Rex in the Clone Wars. Now for a long list. If you're gonna see mess ups, you're gonna see a lot here. Okay, the clone army of the Republic had a lot of vehicles. I'm not gonna go into details of the vehicles. I'm gonna go into some, but I'm not gonna talk about all of them. So, here we go. The Republic outfitted their army with a very varied selection of vehicles. But we will be touching more on the most commonly used vehicles in the Clone Wars. The All-Terrain Recon Transport, or ATRT, was extensively used in the Clone Wars to recon through tough terrain areas to give light vehicle support with a variety of armaments, such as a chin-mounted laser cannon, chin-mounted Z-6 rotary cannon, and a chin-mounted flamethrower, and a mortar launcher. This was shown during the Ryloth arc, where Mace Windu used the Lightning Squad to get the advantage against the entire Separatist armor column. The All-Terrain Tactical Enforcer, or the ATTE, was the mainline heavy walker of the Republic. This walker was sent on a variety of missions because of the customization of the walker and its usefulness that this tank had. This tank has 4 anti-personnel cannons in the front and 2 in the back, while they have 1 mass driver cannon on the top with a open cockpit for the pilot to be able to have maximum sight of the battlefield. This was a walker that was used during the entirety of the Clone Wars and sometime during the Galactic Empire and during the fall of the Galactic Empire, with the many Imperial warlords needing vehicles. The all-terrain attack pod was seen at the Battle of Kashyyyk and Felucia. I can't exactly say much about this one because I don't know much about it. All I know is it looks like half an ATTE, but it has a third leg in the middle to stabilize it. It's like some kind of a mortar thing. It's got like a mass driver on it. It's a heavy artillery tank with its heavy mass driver. That's all I can be able to say about it. The Republic then has mainly used the BARC speeder, or the BARC speeder, for the many scouting missions they would perform in battle. This is suited for combat with 2 light blaster cannons and 2 anti-personnel cannons. For hover tanks in the war, the TX-130 Saber class and its many variants were put into service to have heavier weapons at a faster pace. The A5 Juggernaut tank was a heavy weapons tank like the ATTE, but instead of it being a walker, it was a wheeled vehicle for faster and smoother transportation. The All-Terrain Attack Transport, or the AT-AT, was at most a prototype in the Clone Wars. With its 2 heavy laser cannons for anti-vehicle use, the 4 anti-personnel blasters, and 1 dorsal twin laser turret, this vehicle was still a beast. There are still more tanks that you could go into detail about, but I would probably go into hours of talking about them, and then you would have to go on the Legends talking about them. So I'm just gonna leave it there. But I'm not gonna leave this video off without bringing up the fact that the Republic also really relied on the Jedi, because as they went through the Clone Wars, the Republic Army relied more and more on the Jedi as their generals for their army. So I will have to say that's all I can be able to say about the Republic's strengths. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and in the next video, we will be closing this off with the Republic versus the Flood, seeing whether the Flood can be able to infect the Republic galaxy, or the Republic can actually push the Flood back. I'll see you guys later. See ya!